told you that some of our food is toxic, that it could kill us, and that the government is helping food companies to hide the truth. This isn't the X-Files, this is real. In 2011, the government commissioned a report that said if this toxin still existed in foods in certain quantities by 2013, that the people should be made aware of it. Hang on. But by 2015, the toxin still existed. Yet a meeting of ministers decided that we still shouldn't know the truth.
Excuse me, this is an ABC board meeting.
Oh, I hear the checkout's a good show. So where is this toxin found? It could be in baked goods, pies, croissants, cookies, margarine, especially industrial margarine, and in deep-fried foods. Watch out! Donut!
What are you doing?
That could have killed you.
How?
Trans fat.
How fat can kill you?
Yeah, trans fat is worse.
What even is it?
Small amounts of trans fat occur naturally in some meat and dairy, but artificial trans fat is created when you take vegetable oil and add hydrogen, which makes it more solid like this. Studies now show that these partially hydrogenated oils raise your bad cholesterol and reduce your good cholesterol. In doing so, they increase the risk of death from coronary heart disease by 28%. One study found that reducing the intake of trans fats by just 1% would prevent 7,000 deaths a year in England.
So it only kills the English then? That's fine by me.
The American FDA say that artificial trans fat is
not generally recognized as safe for use in human food.
They don't include natural trans fat in that. There's some suggestion that it's not as bad for you as artificial trans fat. That's still very much a point of debate. Anyway, 14 years ago, Denmark limited the amount of trans fat allowed in their food because
Vi var bekymrede for helbredet af vores befolkning.
that was meant to be translated.
Trods i hovedet.
That wasn't.
So why do they pump me full of trans fat?
Let's find out. Wow, no cue. Artificial trans fats are used because they're a cheap way to make food last a long time.
Grandpappy, I'm as fit as a fiddle.
They make pastries crispier, and products like margarine stay solid in the heat. Plus, oils with trans fats can be used many times in commercial fryers.
This museum sucks.
So basically, it'll increase the life of your donut, but decrease the life of you.
I got no problem with that.
Hey.
So if trans fats are so bad for you humans, why aren't they labeled on your foods?
Good question, Talking Donut. Our Food Standards Agency decided not to recommend mandatory labelling of trans fat because they said that on average, Australians consume less than the World Health Organization recommended maximum. But averages are only so useful. I mean, an average would suggest that all Australians eat kale, when in fact it's just this guy.
It goes with everything.
And even those figures show that 10% of Australians eat more trans fat than the World Health Organization recommends as safe. That's 2.4 million people. That's like everyone living in Brisbane.
Brisbane?
So how do you avoid trans fat if you don't want to be part of that 2.4 million? We asked the makers of all these foods if they contain trans fat and why they do or don't label them.
Oh, a pie. It's like haggis, only edible.
And there was some good news when it came to oils and table margarines. Most of those now include their trans fat levels on their nutrition panels.
Great. Margarine will really make this pop.
Trans fats are also still found in commercial margarines that are used in many processed foods.
Sarah Lee.
A small amount of manufactured trans fats are present in the vegetable margarines we use.
Parties, 420. Another sponge.
Most of the products contain partially hydrogenated fats in the margarine used.
But the difference is, none of these products label their trans fats. And this is the problem. If a product has low levels of trans fat, then they're more than happy to tell you about it, like a lot of chips nowadays.
0% trans fats. Must be healthy.
But if a product has high levels of trans fat, then that can be their little secret. Sergeant's Pies, Michelle's Patisserie and Donut King wouldn't answer our questions. Do they have high trans fats? Who knows? We're not the only ones that get ignored. Even when the government's own Food Standards Authority surveyed 52 restaurants, oil suppliers, food manufacturers and supermarkets about their initiatives to reduce trans fat, only 22 replied. So what are they hiding?
And they hiding anything.
Oh, God. And here's the thing. None of the manufacturers said to us, we don't know if there are trans fats in our products. But several said that they don't put it on their labels because they're not required to.
Those grease bandits! I'll kill them!
Are you trying to do groundskeeper Willie?
Oh, I don't know. The only backstory I was given is that I'm called Scottish Cleaner.
Better than mine. Mine just says Craig. I mean, what does that even mean? Why do I always have to play this Craig guy? In Australia, manufacturers only have to label trans fat if they make nutritional claims about cholesterol or fatty acids, which is a shame because labelling is not just about informing consumers. When America introduced mandatory labelling for trans fat, it encouraged manufacturers to find substitutes, which helped lead to a reduction in trans fat levels in the blood of Americans by 58%.
I'm so much healthier now.
So how do you avoid trans fat if it isn't labelled? Well, you can try and avoid the foods that it's most likely to appear in. In 2013, the SANS found the highest concentrations in products like these. But they can show up anywhere. A Deakin University study found high levels of trans fat in microwave popcorn, 1 brand of sesame seed water crackers, chocolate wafer biscuits and donuts.
Now you've ruined my lunch.
Yeah, take a walk. And apparently, the amount of trans fat in chicken nuggets was increasing.
What about the amount of chicken?
I doubt it. But look, all of this could have changed. We don't know unless it's on the label. But there is something that does have to be on the label, and that is a list of ingredients. And that could help you out. You're looking for unhydrogenated oils and trying to avoid partially hydrogenated oil. But if your processed product just says oil, you're none the wiser.
So does it have trans fat or not?
There's my investigation.